Hey guys, let's discuss new problem from array, which is merge two sorted array. But here the thing is you have to merge them in place. You cannot use extra space. Okay, so this is very interesting problem to solve because without extra space, how can you merge two array, right? So let's see this. So I already have this array 1 and array 2 with me, and so here we will use gap method. Okay, this is based on shell sort. Okay, so what you will do, see, let's say the length of array 1 is 1 2 3 4 and length of array 2 is 5. Okay, so you will find gap like n plus m plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, and then after processing that gap, you will divide that gap by 2 again, then process with that, then again divide by 2, and until you will do this until the gap is equivalent to 1. Okay, then you will stop. So how we will do it? You will take 2 pointers I and j. Okay, so first let's find what is gap. So gap is equal to 4 plus 5 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, array length 1, array length 2 plus 1 divided by 2. So this is 4 plus 5, gap is your 5. Okay, so I will point to 0 and j will point to gap. Okay, so now I will point to 0, so I will point here. Okay, now j will point to gap, so j will point to 5. Now the array, you will ask me that array 1 is of length 4, array 2 is of length 5, so how you will point this to 5th index, right? So for that you will have 3 conditions. See, either your I and j will be in array 1, that is one condition, or your I and j will be in array 2, that is second condition, or your I is in array 1, j is in array 2. Okay, so only these 3 cases will be here. So right now if you see here, okay, if both are in array 1, okay, in that case I will be less than n is array 1 length. Okay, j is less than n, j is also less than n means array 1's length, right? So it means I and j will be in same array. But here for us gap j is 5. Okay, so I is 0 and j is 5, so 5 is greater than array 1 length. Okay, so for us this condition will be true, where I is less than n and j is greater than or equal to n, means I will be in array 1, j will be in array 2. Okay, one more condition will come later in the solution, where I and j both is greater than array 1's length. So in that case both will be pointing to array 2, right? So how you will write that? See, I minus n, because I is greater than n, so you will just subtract the size of n, so you will get the pointer there for I, and similarly for j also, j minus n. Okay, and here too you are just swapping the elements. So let's see how we are swapping it, and after this you just do I plus plus j plus plus. Okay, and if gap is equal to 1, so you will break that condition, otherwise you will again work for whatever gap you have divided by 2 and divided by 2. Okay, so let's try run it. Fine, so right now our gap is 5. Okay, okay, so our gap is 5 right now. I is pointing to here and j is pointing to 1 2 3 4 5. J will be pointing to this 2. Okay, you just need to see I should be lesser, j should be greater. The element I is pointing should be lesser and the element j is pointing should be greater. Okay, so see, 1 is less than 2, condition is true. Okay, so that is fine. Do I plus plus j plus plus. Now I, okay, so now continue. I was pointing to 3 and j was pointing to 6. Now again 3 is less than 6. Okay, so this is fine. So sorry guys, the space issue. Okay, so I was pointing 5, j was pointing 8. The condition is true, 5 is less than 8, that is fine. So I will plus plus, j will plus plus. 7 is less than 9, this is also fine. I will plus plus, j will plus plus. Now j is greater than n plus m. Okay, so again now again you will j is greater than, so you will come out from this while loop, and then gap is equal to 1, no, condition false. So gap equal to gap plus 1 divided by 2. So now gap will become 5 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 3. Okay, again come to this while loop, gap is greater than 0. Okay, so now again I will be 0. Okay, let me remove this because we will try run again. So again I will point to 0. okay, and j will point to 3. So 1 2 3. Now this time j is in the array 1 itself, okay, because it is lesser than n. Check. 1 is less than 7, condition true. I plus plus j plus plus, I will come here and j will come here, okay, because of this. J was 4 here, so plus plus, because after plus j was 4, right? So 4 minus 4 0, so that's why j is pointing here at 0 location, 0th location of array 2. Now check. 3 is less than 0, condition false, so swap these both elements. So 0 will come here and 3 will come here, okay. Now I plus plus j plus plus, I is pointing here, j is pointing here, okay. 5 is less than 2, condition false, so 2 will come here, okay, and 5 will come here. Now again I plus plus, I is pointing to 7, j is pointing to 6. Again 7 is less than 6, condition false, so 6 will come here and 7 will come here, okay. Now I plus plus, so I is pointing to this 3, j is pointing to this 8. 3 is less than 8, condition true. I is pointing to 5, j is pointing to 9. 5 is less than 9, condition true. I is pointing to 7, j is out of m plus n, so you will come out. Again you will do what you will do. Again you will reassign I and j and find the value of gap, okay. Before that let's write it properly. 1026, okay. So this is your 1 comma 0 comma 2 comma 6, okay, and this is 357. So let me write this one also properly. 357, okay. 3 comma 5 comma 7. Now what is gap? Again gap is 3 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 2, okay. I will point to 0 and j will point to 2. 1 is less than 2, condition true. I plus plus j plus plus, I pointing to 0, j pointing to 6, okay. 0 is less than 6, condition true. So now I is pointing to 2, j is pointing to 3, okay. 2 is less than 3, condition true. I is pointing to 6, j is pointing to 5. No, condition is not true, so swap both the elements. 5 and 6 will come here, okay. Now I is pointing to this 3, j is pointing to this 7. 3 is less than 7, condition true. I is pointing to 6, j is pointing to 8, condition true. I is pointing to 7, j is pointing to 9, condition true. Then I plus plus j plus, again it will break, means condition will not satisfy. Now gap, new gap is gap equal to 2 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 3 by 2, 1, okay. For 1, now it is adjacent elements, okay. So let me remove this for our last and final round of try run, okay. So I is pointing to 0, j is pointing to 1. 1 is less than 0, condition false, so 0 will come here, 1 will come here. I is pointing to 1, j is pointing to 2, condition true. I is pointing to 2, j is pointing to 5, condition true. I is pointing to 5, j is pointing to 3, condition false, so 3 will come here and 5 will come here. I is pointing to 5, j is pointing to 6, condition true. 5 less than 6. I is pointing to 6, j is pointing to 7, 6 less than 7, condition true. I is pointing to 6 and then 7 is less than 8, 8 is less than 9, so this. Just see what your array is currently looking like, okay. And then to gap will become 1, right? So we will not run this condition. So now your array is looking like this: 0 0 1 2 3. This is array 1, and this is 5 6 7 8 9. This is array 2. So see, we have just sorted 2 sorted arrays in place. So that's it. Thank you.